Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing a reading on how you change other people, other entities, how you change them, what you change, and why you feel the need to change them in that way. I don't have any piles, I don't have any physical things around me to use for the piles, so the piles are going to be numbers today. The first pile is 72. The second pile is the number 37. And the third pile is the number 83. So, I'm going to repeat that one more time. Pile 1 is 72. Pile 2 is 37. Pile 3 is 83. Pile 1, if you chose number 72, this is going to be your reading on how you change other people. Let's see. I just got a new deck because my mom ordered a deck. She accidentally got two, the people accidentally sent her two of the same deck. So I got a free deck. Yay! Spirit, please give me a general idea, something to start with. Pile 1, 10 of Cups, immediately popped out very fast. So I'm seeing that you change people's sense of happiness. I heard specifically if people might find material things more important, or material status more important, then you change their view on that. I also hear that maybe people who grew up privileged, or didn't grew up with a lot more chances than maybe most people get, and so that has affected their worldview and how they perceive wealth and abundance. You change their perception on that too. Basically, you make people who are more materialistic and care more about the 3D side of things, find happiness in just self-satisfaction, moment to moment. Very Empress energy of just standing there and looking around at it's a beautiful night, the water's rolling, there's a little boat you can take, there's a party back there that you can go back into, but you're just standing under the moonlight, admiring where you are in life. And you kind of lead people to that, not only different perception of the world around them and the wealth that they have, but different perception of themselves and how they perceive success within themselves. Also, I'm really seeing you as the representation of this beautiful woman dressed in white who sort of has taken this man's hand and is looking like she's about to guide him into the party. I'm feeling like you show others the way, meaning you're very good at being a leader and guiding others through things that maybe they don't understand. And for this party that you're guiding these people into, it gives me the feeling of maybe the more spiritual side of things, or maybe the more crazy parts of the world that other people are ignorant to or don't understand. You guide people through that and open them up to that completely different side of the world that they had never been exposed to, that maybe you have an intimate understanding with, these darker parts of people. And that's why you want to bring people this different sense of happiness and satisfaction within themselves, because you have seen so much darkness in the world. You have seen how the darkness affects people to the point where they feel like they can't do anything. They feel like they have no choices in happiness and satisfaction. They feel like they have to just keep working till they die, or keep putting themselves in this position till they, just to get something that isn't making them any happier, or just to act a certain way that isn't bringing them fulfillment. You make people realize that a job is less of something you have to hate, and more something you habitually want to do that brings you abundance and pleasure and also brings other people some sort of growth. And you show people by doing that and actually being happy with the things they do every day. Not only are they happy within themselves and they stop being a bitch all the time, but they also are happy with other people. They're more happy with their relationships. They're more happy to like go out and see the moon with someone or go into a party and trust that someone will guide them through the social circles. So basically, you change people's trust and their expectations of how their reality should be. Spirit, what else does my pile ones change? People who align with the number 37. We have 7 of Cups. So that's another cup suit. I'm feeling like you're a very emotionally wise and intuitive person, and you're happy to share your emotional maturity and love with other people. The 7 of Cups makes this guy look like he's climbing up the beanstalk, but he has a whole chicken in his hand. How is he supposed to climb with one hand? People around you have these goals in mind, and they're reaching towards those goals, but they're holding on to these other things because they're so focused on their goal and getting there. They're not looking at themselves. They're not looking around them to see, hey, maybe there's an easier way for me to get from point A to point B. Maybe I'm overcomplicating this based on my preconceptions about how one should achieve their goals or take the journey towards their goals, or whatever, goals, emotional illusions, relationships, whatever. You change, what you change about that is that you make the person let go of the fucking chicken. You're like, hey, yo, don't you think it'd be easier if you had 2 hands? And they're like, oh yeah, you're right. And then they leave the chicken there on that leaf and they keep climbing. I don't know, bro. You make people make the best of their emotional illusions. Because the 7 of Cups, it gives me like Neptune and Uranus energy of just like those far-reaching dreams that are still ever present in your daily life but still seem so out of reach, like a star. And it's out of reach for different reasons for every person. And these things are supposed to be out of reach so you can have a motivation to go towards your destiny. But then people have these unnecessary blockages that keep them from their destiny. And you help people align with the most the least ignorant and blind to oneself way. This is hard to explain because it's in my head and I'm trying to like tell you. When people get caught up on a certain way of doing things because they want to get towards their goals, or because they want to get towards their passions or be more aligned to their passions, you help them turn around and like take a step back and like slow down and realize what they need to do to best optimize their way of getting there so that they're not holding on to emotional baggage, emotional blockages that keep them from reaching this emotional stability with these 2 cup cards. Not only do you change people's sense of emotional foundation, but you change their emotional motivation. Like you basically clear it. Like it's like this feeling of cutting away the bullshit, blowing, the wind is blowing out the fog, and all of a sudden you can see the entire pathway before you. That's what you sort of help people with. Not only are you making the pathway clear to them, but you're making them feel stable and grounded in that pathway and knowing that that is the direction they want to go in. Spirit, what else does my pile 1 change in other people? What else does my pile 1 change in other entities? I'm getting Sagittarius energy. I'm just like looking towards the sky. Some people think you have an overly optimistic vision on their beliefs, but low-key, you plant a seed in people's minds where they actually believe that they can achieve their deepest dreams and wishes because you believe in them, you know? You're like, yes, you can do that as long as you're not, like, holding the stupid fucking chicken and climbing with one arm. Like, oh, another cups. 5 of Cups. Look at her, so dramatic. She's like, oh, the water, it's taking me in. Oh, I'm going to float away to the ocean. Oh no. This is giving me Pisces energy. Look at her. I feel like you're kind of a dramatic person. Or you just perceive the world in a dramatic way. To where maybe when people tell you about their problems, about the things that have hurt them, or the things that maybe they're confused about that have happened recently, you're just like, you take it to, like, the way you perceive it, you take it to the next level. You read between the lines and what they're saying. You really, like, get down into the dramatics of why those things are happening to that person. And you just make it such a big deal that it sort of becomes more of a big deal to that person. Like, sometimes you can just make people have more fun. Like, you change them in that they see things in a more dramatic way that can, like, it just makes things more fun sometimes. Like, not everything has to be all, like, business-like, you know? But not only that, you help people. I'm hearing embrace the fact that they've been hurt, or embrace the fact that their problems are truly painful and no one should really have to go through that. And it's really messed up that they have to go through that. Or maybe they sort of desensitize themselves to the idea of their own pain. And they're like, yeah, whatever, it just happens to me now. You sort of like are like, but no, it's not okay. It's so sad and dramatic. It's like a main character movie moment. And in that way, you make people, this is weird, you make people care more about themselves. Like, it's almost like you open up their emotions in that way of like, yeah, what happened to me was pretty shitty, or those things that happened in the past were super dramatic and unnecessary. And you let people basically get in this 5 of Cups energy where they can be sad over themselves. They can mourn those parts of their ego that got killed off by other people's ego projections and stuff like that. Like, you let people mourn their traumas. You let people accept that it's okay to... It's not selfish to say you had a hard time or still have a hard time with people on a daily basis. However, like, however trauma comes to you in your relationship to trauma with other people, you really have this emphasis on wanting other people to understand that it's okay to admit and realize the fact that the things that happened to you weren't okay. And that it is hard for you, and because you make people realize that it is hard for them, and that like how much it actually deeply affected them, whatever happened, that they can that they feel they're like, oh yeah, this is actually super bad, maybe I need healing on this, maybe I just need to fucking cry and mourn and be dramatic over it. Like you help people get out of that energy where they're just ignoring it, or just being apathetic to it. Okay? If you really get people all up in their emotions, out of that air sign energy of just sitting back and observing, you're like, no, it's time to be dramatic. It's time to face our emotional insides or whatever. I don't know. It's just giving me this really dramatic, like, art teacher energy, or psychology teacher energy, where or maybe drama club teacher energy, where these people that you meet are always like the most crazy dramatic people, and you wonder how they can live in such a constant state of just intense emotion. But that's you, my pile one. You are that constant state of intense emotion. Eight of Swords in reverse. So this is Eight of Swords upright, and this is Eight of Swords reverse. So I'm hearing, again, childhood traumas that people haven't accepted and faced. You make them face it. Like, you make them feel like, you make them care about their inner child more and be like, my inner child deserves forgiveness and redemption for those situations where maybe other people have blamed themselves for the things that happened to them that they truly had no control over. Four of Cups, another cup. Look at them, they're all looking off into the ocean together. They're having a sad movie moment. Yeah, I feel like you're not afraid to have deep conversations with people that make people understand themselves a little bit better. I'm getting this energy where like people might want to approach you for advice in a lot of situations, and people take your advice to heart. Like, whatever you end up telling people for advice, they usually do exactly what you said, because they don't. You are so accurately in tune with exactly how that person wants to handle the situation, how they need to find redemption in that situation. And so after people are done talking to you, my pile one, y'all all just sort of sit there and look at the ocean, or look off into the distance, or just like sit there in silence together, and just like, it's like, whoa man, that was so deep. But seriously though, I'll just sit there and think about it for a while, and it's like, yeah, the world is messed up, but we only have control over ourselves and how we feel about it, you know? And you make people take a step back and just realize that they're ultimately alone with their own feelings and choices. And so maybe if they change their feelings and choices on certain matters pertaining to their home, pertaining to their deepest wishes, pertaining to things that have hurt them, then they can have a different state of being day to day that is maybe less challenging for them to get towards their destiny, less unfamiliar for them to travel through a world of emotional people, and less dramatic when these bad things keep happening to them, because they kind of finally realize like what those traumas are teaching them, or what those patterns, those karmic patterns that the universe kept giving to them that maybe they ignored, were ultimately trying to teach them and make them step back and take a look at these pains that they've been ignoring, like those 3 empty cups. Like, and it's like, you don't just make people sit there and be like, oh, my empty cups, but you also make them like see their other cup, this cup of opportunity waiting for them. It's like this simultaneous ability to make people optimistically look forward because of you digging so deep into looking backwards and why those things happened and how those things are affecting the present with those people right now. So maybe you talk people through their situations. Maybe you just give really good advice all the time. Maybe you are an artist and people perceive these feelings through your art. It could be practically anything. But Spirit, give me one more card on how my pile 1 changes people. Just one more. How does my pile 1 change other people? Specifically in my head, I asked for in what manner? Like, how do you go about it? Ace of Wands immediately popped out, so it's you're very passionate about it. So when every person you meet, it's just immediate. It's like the first thing you bring up, the thing that always comes up in the conversation without you even really meaning to. It's very important to you to give this idea to someone else, to have them understand how important these ideas are, and to nurse them and care about them, as they should nurse and care about themselves. And 8 of Cups in reversed is telling me that you are so fiery about it. You're like, no, you shouldn't move on. You should still care about those things. Those things shouldn't happen to you. You shouldn't have to sit here and look at him. He's literally, look, she's all like crying and he's just like, bruh. Reverse time for her to fucking do that to him, bro. That's what you tell people. You're like, no, now it's your turn to be the fucking one in control, the one who has the power, because I feel like you have experienced lack of power a lot in your life, and you're tired of seeing other people just waste their inner power. You want people to have this idea that by changing how they emotionally perceive themselves, they change how they emotionally perceive others, which makes them less liable to be hurt in a situation. It makes them more likely to be like, yeah, this person's just vibing on a weird level. It doesn't, like, it has nothing to do with me. You know, you make people realize that the people that have hurt them, it didn't have anything to do with them. They can separate themselves from those people who hurt them, and even sometimes just like be like, I'm better than this. I'm better than this situation. I don't need to contribute to this person's ego in this situation. I can just react however I want to react. I can just walk away. I can just ignore them. I can tell them to fuck off, you know? You help people get out of that energy where they felt stuck in those situations, those emotional situations. That's what you change in other people, pile 1.
Hi, pile 2. If you chose number 37, this is going to be your reading. 37. Spirit, what do my pile 2s do to change other people? How do my pile 2s change other people? People who aligned with the number 37. Let's see. We have the King of Swords in reverse. Upright, he kind of looks like the Hermit, looking back towards the darkness. But reversed, he is looking towards the light. He's going on his path. Wherever he's going. I feel like you help people loosen up their boundaries and stop being so cold and rigid about what they believe or what they do or the paths they take. Spirit, what else is my pile 2 changing people? You might have also aligned with pile 1, pile 2. What else is my pile 2 changing people? What else is my pile 2 changing people? The world.
You change people's sense of completeness. What makes them feel complete? Everyone has their own darkness, their own lack of something, their own feeling of incompleteness. But everyone also, in turn, has a way of feeling complete. And maybe some people feel like their own sense of self-completion is unattainable, is a unattainable state, or they only try to attain that state in certain states of being or states of consciousness, I guess you could say. You make people see that the sense of completeness is woven into every moment of every day. Every person writes their own destiny, right? With this King of Swords. But since this King of Swords is in reverse, there are things that are out of control in our destiny. There are things we had no way of causing or preventing, but they still ended up changing the course of our lives. You help people take a step back and surrender to the world they already have, the world of possibilities they already have, and that have already been given to them. And basically, you open people up to the idea of not needing to sit there and write every little detail of their legacy out, throughout their lives. Your legacy is created by how you balance your sense of incompletion, what you make out of that, and how you balance in turn your sense of completion and what you make and give out of that. Spirit, what else? Oh. The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man. Look at him, he's all mummified. His entire body is wrapped up in silk. It looks almost like a dungeon, like he's been there forever. But the dungeon looks kind of fancy. Like he's maybe a really rich person who feels like he has no other choice but to live it through his legacy or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, you change people's you make people realize what is keeping them so wrapped up and why. Like with this hangman, what I just described was he was feeling wrapped up by his rich life, and why he was feeling tied up by that was because he felt an obligation to be materialistically tied to his bloodline and the things he was born into. This is just an example, but I can think of a million different people who would know how to talk that man out of his preconceptions about himself, who would be able to talk him straight out of these silk bonds and be like, all right, man, get up and let's go. Stop being such a fucking idiot. Everyone has their own things that they feel like tie them up in daily reality. Everyone has their own issues and challenges. But when it comes to someone's overall challenge over the course of their destiny, like major arcana vibes, someone's pain over the course of their life, you make people feel less tied by it or less constricted by it, that they can't move or change their situation. Again, with the King of Swords reversed in the world, you instead show them that yeah, there are those things that were out of your control that maybe you were born into, but that doesn't mean you have to keep perceiving it in a way to where you can't get out of the situation. People
see the pain they cause you because of the fact they won't change, or they see the pain that has been caused you by other people because other people wouldn't change when you tried to help them, or were just in their life and they needed to change to like be a part of your life. And people want to change because they see that pain that has been caused to you reflected in themselves, in a way that's just like they don't want their own inner child to keep experiencing that constriction and inability to have control. So by seeing you go through that pain, or maybe by them causing you that pain, karmically it made them sort of like feel the need to change their own pain, if that makes sense. It's really weird. I'm feeling like karmically, you affect people on a super deep subconscious level. It's where like, even if they swear up and down that they meant to hurt you and it was meant to be, and that they had every right and reason to do what they did, subconsciously, deep down emotionally, they're like, why did I do those things? And when they search for a reason why, they find their own inner pain. And so they're pretty much forced, they have no other choice but to change those karmic cycles that have to do with them being tied to their pain in a certain manner that hurts other people. Also, I just realized with the world right here and the hangman, I'm seeing like a 21-12, like 21 mirrored to 12. So that might be a significant angel number for you, pile 2. 1 2 2 1 12 21. Oh, my bad, I put it backwards. It could be either 1 2 2 1 or it could be 2 1 1 2. So look up one of those angel numbers if either of those sounded familiar or aligned with you. Alright, what else does my pile 2 change in other people? 5 of Wands. Look how hard this man is pursuing that girl. You look. You change people's pursuits. You change what they're pursuing for. So if they're pursuing for some bullshit that isn't going to last them and isn't going to cause them true happiness and satisfaction and fulfillment, you tell them basically, or the situations you are in with them basically show them exactly how petty and stupid their pursuits are. Because literally judgment right here, like you bring down judgment on those things because people get caught up in these daily pursuits that are so unnecessary, and they get so caught up and focused on them that they end up causing themselves pain. They're causing the people around them pain. Other people are like, I don't fucking want you to pursue me. I don't want you to pursue this. Why are you doing this for me? And they still keep doing it for whatever reason. Also hearing that you make people more passionate about the things they love and want to pursue that are actually fulfilling within themselves. Like you make people want to find self-fulfillment, and you make them want it in such a way that they're like fiery, looking for it. Not necessarily looking for it, but being passionate about what they have in the moment. So whether that's their relationship with their person, or to their job, or whatever they have, you make them go straight towards their goals in a way that aligns the most with their inner happiness and sense of self-fulfillment and completion. And I'm feeling that's because you yourself are so aligned with your goals and deepest desires and soul pursuits in life. And so it inspires other people to be like, well, what do I want in life? What do I want out of this life? Spirit, what else did my pile 2 change? What else did my pile 2 change about other people? It's funny because I just saw judgment earlier, and now I have judgment in reverse. So you make people turn around and be like, okay, you're basically like, why are you judging someone else for this? Like, you change when people are judgmental towards others. You're like, you're like, maybe you're being judgmental towards them about this because you judge that within yourself. You know, you don't like that part of yourself. And you also stop people from being judgmental in general. Because people take this high horse because of their pursuits in life and this destiny they feel like they have to fulfill and write out for themselves. And they take the high horse because they're like, oh, my pain and trauma was worse. Or my world is better, bigger, more infinite than yours. No. You completely strip down people's judgments about other people. You make them stop feeling like they need to control other people or the situations around them. And I'm feeling that you do this by sort of letting go, letting your destiny write itself, being transparent with your pain and your traumas and the things that you feel bind you. Like, you're transparent with that with other people and you talk about those problems really easily. But you're also able to step back and just feel fulfilled and happy within yourself in the moment, even when you're upset about something. And you passionately, like, you go towards every event and moment in your life passionately because you're just so fulfilled. You feel so happy. You feel like you have the world within you at all times. And this has caused you to be such a non-judgmental person. Like, you relinquish judgment for the universe to give. And it's almost like because you do that so well, the universe puts judgment through you. Like, it channels judgment through you because you are so unfocused on bringing down judgment on other people. It's like you're the best channel for judgment then. But I'm hearing that a lot of Libras don't like you. Libras, you might have had like a really bad history with a Libra or something, but I just heard that like Libras are like, who does this bitch think she is? Who does this bitch think they are? He is. What the fuck? And they get big mad about it. But that tends to only be the like underdeveloped Libras, not the more mature Libras. You might even have like a really close connection with a more mature Libra, or you might have a romantic crush on a Libra of some sort. Because something about Libra energy is important to your life destiny, which is weird. Since you bring so much non-judgment into other people's lives, it's almost like because you're not judging people so much, it makes them judge themselves in a weird way. And finally, our final card for how you change other people in my pile 2 is this beautiful Page of Cups. I can't really tell what she's giving him in this lighting, but it looks like she's just giving him some cloth or something. Just something to help him out on his daily duties. Just being polite. And maybe where other people have felt like it's a dog-eat-dog world and you should never give something without expecting something to be taken away from you, or what's that thing where like an IOU, like somebody does something for you and you're like, oh, I owe you now. You're like, you change that behavior. Like, no, you don't need to owe. Like, it's okay to just be nice and give someone something or be there for someone without expecting something back. And you also show people that because those childhood traumas where people expected so much from them, or those childhood traumas where they felt the need to always give back to someone after they were given food, given affection, given just the basic necessities, and they felt like they had to give back because they didn't deserve those necessities unless they were giving back. You help people through that sort of trauma patterns and response because you are just such a giving person. You help people see that it's okay to just, receive a gift from someone, or like have someone be nice to you without being like, oh, I have to do something for this person now, or I feel so bad that they were nice to me, or they were only nice to me because they want something out of me. No, you change specifically people's trauma about that because maybe you know intimately what their trauma is like, or maybe you just want to give people that sense of it's okay to be happy without feeling like there's terms to it. Like, love isn't transactional. And you change people's way of giving and expressing love, their love language. Whereas those people maybe felt like they need to constantly give back, or they constantly need to give to someone to impress them. You help people just sort of slow down and take a step back and see what actually would make that person happy. I don't know how to explain it. Or actually would, that person would actually feel fulfilled giving to other people instead of like feeling like there was a need to give to other people or else they wouldn't get what they wanted back. Like, no, like you change people's sense of giving, their love language, and make it more balanced so that within themselves and other people.
Hi, my pile threes. If you chose number 83, here's your reading on how you change other people. Spirit, come on. Give me the details. Let me know. What is it that my pile threes change about other people? We got 2 cards off the bat. We have, 3 cards. 2 of Wands in reversed. So you definitely change people's, like, what they're planning, what they feel like their future is gonna be like, what they're planning into their future. 7 of Swords in reversed. You change people's self-manipulation and self-deceit. You curb that shit for sure. And Temperance. Temperance. Temperance in this context. I'm feeling like you make people want to be more balanced within themselves. Or you push people to feel the need to feel more balanced within themselves. Like, because when I was thinking about it, I got this image of somebody like holding the cups and they sort of didn't know what to do at first. But then you came in, and for some reason, whether it was because they wanted to impress you, because it reminded them of something you had, like some sort of advice you had told them on how to do it, but all of a sudden they just like were completely wielding the cups in the most graceful, perfect, ethereal, alien-like way. And in a way that it was like fun for them, like fulfilling for them. So you make people just sort of express the beauty within themselves in such a balanced way that it's giving both to them and to other people. I'm feeling like specifically you might help people who had an unequal balance of give and take throughout their life. You introduce people to this idea of equal give and take within themselves and boundaries where they only give a specific amount of energy to specific people when their energy is not like reciprocating back, or they're even giving bad energy back. You sort of have something about advice, like you have really good advice on how to help people like not care about a situation so much, or like see the inner humanness and childishness in every situation. That's just like, we're all human. These are dramatic things that happen. You help people understand that it doesn't have to be such a big deal. Like, it can just be like a dramatic thing that you don't have to like fully put your energy into when other people are like projecting their ego onto you. Okay, back to this 2 of Wands though. 2 of Wands has a lot to do with the things you hold on to like have an idea of what you want going forward. And it precedes the 3 of Wands of letting go of those 2 of Wands and moving forward with your Ace of Wands, with your new future, and letting go of the past. But these Two of Wands represents the past that people hold on to. And it being in reverse tells me you keep people from getting stuck in the past or getting stuck holding on to the past. Not only that, but you help people plan things in a way like to where making the most out of their past, like however their past affected them and how they're trying to incorporate that into their present and their future. You help people focus on the most important pieces to that puzzle that's like, okay, these things were part of your past. In order to let go of all this other stuff, you fully realize and accept those things that you're like holding on to from the past, why you're holding on to them, and then how those things are going to affect your future and why, so that when those people step into the future with their Three of Wands energy ready to go and make something new for themselves on their journey, they aren't still holding grudges or still holding emotional blockages within themselves caused by past traumas. Now, Seven of Swords in reverse. People, humans are lazy. People are liable to self-deception and deceiving themselves in order to make it easier for them to operate on a daily level. Because they're doing these horrible self-deceptive things to themselves on a daily basis, it's easier to keep giving into that self-deception than it is to realize how much you're hurting yourself and deceiving yourself and actually change those things. Because it can get to such a level where you're hurting yourself so much that realizing it would be the cause for a breakdown, basically. But I'm hearing that you shine a light on and illuminate where people are self-deceiving themselves, because self-deceit is normal. Like, we all make up our own little worlds and our own little main character movie moments in our heads as we're going through daily life. Like, it's just part of human nature. But you shine a light on those things where it gets a little too over the boundaries of it being healthy for oneself. You shine a light on those things that are keeping that person stuck in self-deceit. You also shine a light on why exactly that person is deceiving themselves. Because you shine a light on what this person's holding on to in the past, you also shine a light on why they are deceiving themselves. And I'm also seeing that because how you change people so deeply that just the thought of them or just the thought of you or the reminder of you makes them feel so happy, and then this Empress element where they're just like in their inner child or they're in their divine feminine. And not only that, but the things that you've helped people with or helped people realize about their own self-deception and their own past pain that they hold on to, they just have this overabundance of love for you that makes them want to give out love to the rest of the universe. And that's why I'm getting this Temperance energy. Like, you change people's sense of love and give and take. Let's see. We also have the Tower in reversed. The Tower in reversed with the Two of Pentacles. Okay. So sometimes in the darker parts of life, people tend to take the things that are happening to them to heart. They get really like upset. They feel like they have no control over their life, that everything they had planned for their future is horrible. And things like that, where they're just like, they get so despairing and they can't be happy about anything. You sort of remind them of what they still have. And not only that, but the opportunities that are being given to them because of those things that were taken away. Like, because all those dark things happened to you, you got these other opportunities on like how you could change, or how you could be, or how you could react to the situation. And it's really everyone's choice, but you help them see the lighter side of that. Like, there are dark things that happen, but in the balance to that, there is like always a sort of lighter consequence, I guess you could say. And it's really just based on perception. Like, when you're a more optimistic person, you're more liable to see those lighter things. You're more nihilistic, you're more liable to see those darker things. But because this Two of Pentacles is here at this Tower in reverse, I'm feeling that, like, you help people take that darkness that they had and build a foundation with it, basically, based on how they react to and perceive that darkness. Like, that is where the light comes from, is how you react to and perceive that darkness. And if you are reacting to it and perceiving it in a way that's like Two of Pentacles, like, it's a joke, it's fun, it's just stupid, silly, like, materialistic things, then people can unattach themselves from this, like, darkness and this pain and all this unconscious stuff, and then just, make fun out of it, make light out of it, make light out of the situation, and it changes them. Like, it genuinely changes how they react to everything. You also give people more of a sense of fun in their life, like feeling like you have a very active inner child, especially when it comes to helping and healing other people. And you just open people up to this sense of gaiety. Like, there's no other word for it, just the sense of happiness, just looking at things and finding beauty in them. Again, divine feminine energy. And it makes people actually, like, see, take a step back and smell the roses, if that makes sense. Like, it makes them find more giddiness and more happiness just out of mundane things in life, or even out of the darker parts of life that used to scare them, or they used to hold on to, and be like, oh, this is my pain. But you sort of help people let go of that, stop deceiving themselves however they deceive themselves, and make something different out of it with that light and dark, with that pain that was caused them and how they are reacting to it. There's this balance that happens, and you can make it all clumsy. Like, some people are clumsy with it, and then you could also, with this Two of Pentacles energy of just like balancing the two pentacles, make it beautiful. And it's like this infinite, it's almost like you interact with the world in a way that's almost like a dance. And you make people see the beauty, even in like darker things, that is just like sort of a dance we're all doing together, if that makes sense. You have this very optimistic view of things, along with pile 2. So you might have aligned with pile 2 also. Also, I'm seeing that this reading is way shorter than the other 2 readings. But Spirit, give me one last card on how my pile 3s affect other people. How do my pile 3s change other people? How do my pile 3s change other people? How do my... Oh. Okay. I got 3 different cards, but I'm going to take this one. 9 of Cups. Specifically with people's pain, you help them see the beauty through those situations. Like, obviously there's no beauty in somebody hurting you. There's no beauty in somebody traumatizing you for no reason. There's no beauty in that. But those things happen to you, and maybe you meet a friend who also went through the same thing, and y'all bond over it. And it turns out y'all also have really good jokes together or something. And y'all never would have met unless those bad things didn't happen to both of y'all. Of course, y'all never deserved to have those things happen to you, but did y'all deserve to meet each other? Yes. Y'all both deserve to have that happiness. And so, the difference between people who hurt other people and people who don't is that people who don't hurt other people on purpose are able to look back and not just see pain in their life. Like, they're able to look back and see the balance of, like, there's pain, there's also there's lightness, and like being able to still see that just because this tower keeps getting taken down and these bad things keep happening doesn't mean there can't be another foundation built up. Like, just because those foundations you keep building up after every bad thing happening just brings the foundations back down again doesn't mean you can't find joy out of the process. And people who actively hurt other people on purpose don't see that. They act that way out of pain, out of fear, out of hurt, because when they look back, all they see is this tower falling over and over again. All they see is that every situation that ever happened to them happened so that it would hurt them, so that they could be unhappy. Every situation they see as other people deceiving them, other people making them have a bad time instead of themselves deceiving them. And they see it as like this two of wands, this past pain that they can never let go of, can never stop holding on to. And that's just not how it is at all. So maybe you've karmically helped those people who have actively, purposefully hurt other people to take a step back and actually try to be happy on themselves in a way that has actually changed them and make them realize how much they were hurting people and how much they were hurting within themselves, even when they were hurting other people, and that it never satisfied them. And you also help people who have been the victim of that unnecessary hurt and ego projection see that it's just human nature. Like, we all make mistakes, and those holding someone accountable for everything they did to you and making them the monster can make it easier for you to cope with it, but it makes it harder to let go of their control over you, or it makes it harder to let go of the pain they caused you. And being able to look at it in a way towards, like, they were just human, like they were just hurting other people because they were hurt within themselves and they couldn't maturely handle that, makes it to where you disattach yourself to that situation. You kind of see the dumbass happiness in it, because it's almost funny. It's like, yeah, that person just wasn't balanced. They weren't happy with themselves, and they're gonna keep not being happy with themselves until they change. That has nothing to do with you. You are still allowed to see the happiness in things that have happened to you and in yourself, despite and even because of the pain that has been caused to you by other people. And that's what you illuminate within other people, is that it's okay to take a step back and be like, yeah, I was above them in that situation, or like I had no control over that situation, like they were just being a dickhead. Like, it's not that they're some crazy monster, they're just like, they couldn't control themselves. They actively didn't want to control themselves because they didn't want to change, and it just caused them pain. And I don't want to deal with that pain anymore. You help people realize that they don't want to keep holding on to that past pain. You help them open up their inner child and see the innate joke out of it. You help them build a new foundation for themselves, where it's not just everything that they've built up about themselves and the boundaries that they've built up has been about pain. It can also be about self-love and self-balance and happiness, like how you want to create happiness in yourself and how exactly you want to deceive yourself to make your world a little bit more fun and less painful, and like not deceiving yourself in a way to make it more painful for yourself and others, but deceiving yourself in a way that you can have more fun out of it. You can find more of a joke out of it. Lots of inner child healing for this pile 3.